All right, are we ready to go to Las Vegas? Let's roll it. This is Porter Michael Warnken in Las Vegas at Freedom Fest. Let's do it.
This is Michael Warnken here in Las Vegas at Freedom Fest for On Second Thought, and I am here with...
Robin Kerner.
And what organization are you with?
Well, can I say robinkerner.com?
You may, absolutely.
Not just that. I'm faculty at Foundation for Economic Education. Check out their booth over there.
Okay.
And also, I have recently been made the academic dean for the John Locke Institute.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't that sound highfalutin? Oh. It's not really that highfalutin, but it sounds highfalutin.
Well, John Locke was an important figure in libertarian philosophy, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yeah. Can you say a founding father of classical liberalism, maybe?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So that's a new angle I'm going off on, yeah.
So you're here. You were on a couple panels so far.
Yeah, a few panels. So the first one I've already done is Brexit. That was great in the main hall over there. I'm very passionate about Brexit. Today I'll be talking about whether millennials are destroying freedom. I guess more than any other generation. I think that's a hard claim to make.
I don't know that they have the capacity to destroy anything.
Oh, controversial.
Well, it might be their indifference completely.
Oh, we'll talk about that. Yes. And then I'm doing masculinity, toxic masculinity, right? How to cure that. But that one's kind of cool because they've titled the panel. They've taken the title from an article I wrote that was "The Cure for Toxic Masculinity is Real Masculinity." So we'll see how that goes. Right. And then I'm doing a panel on winning elections out of nowhere, which is kind of really in my wheelhouse: political psychology, insurgent political movements, that kind of thing. How to create one. So so they got me busy here at Freedom Fest.
Okay. And you yourself are a rather large libertarian. Is that fair to say?
Oh God.
Well, wait. We're not talking party, just libertarian philosophy.
In the United States, the word libertarian has become associated with what I think you could almost call a neo-religious or political orthodoxy. Okay. And I don't want those connotations. Because I'm kind of with Kierkegaard, if you label me, you negate me. Oh. So I feel more comfortable, I don't like labels. I feel more comfortable with classical liberal as a label, because I think libertarianism, as understood by many people, has become bastardized. Bits of classical liberalism has fallen off. Okay. Other bits have been kind of concretized in unsophisticated ways that I don't think are actually true to the tradition.
Well, then how about toxic liberal or toxic libertarian?
Toxic. What is that, as opposed to an orthodox one? I don't know. I mean, look. When people say, put me in that group. This is my political family, yeah. Okay. I just try and avoid labels if I can. I just don't think they're helpful. And I have some differences. I mean, we all have some differences with each other in that political family, I guess. But,
So it's fair to say you feel at least comfortable rubbing elbows with the people that might be walking down the halls.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. No, like I said, I'm with Fee over there. Okay. And absolutely. There's great people here, and I know many of them, and it's been great to meet them, including you, my friend, including you, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's skip over. So the first topic you mentioned when we're talking here, Brexit. Tell us about that.
Brexit, what a cluster, right? What a cluster. So I know you and I share a love of history. Yes. Although I will bow to your knowledge on anything related to law and all of that. But I do see Brexit as part of I see it in a kind of amateur historical perspective, if I can put it that way. Okay. It is a massive thing. Okay. Now, if this does not happen.
Well, wait, how about we explain it? Because, we might need to, because you want to be honest, Brexit really started, 4 or 5 years ago? Maybe,
So the vote for Brexit was 2016, when it was a referendum.
And wait. And we're talking about England, too.
We're talking about the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, yes. Including the 4 nations of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Okay. So even that's complicated, isn't it?
And not Southern Ireland, right?
And not, yes, Ireland, as they call themselves. Yeah. All kinds of trouble. For a long time. Yes, so the British people voted in the largest democratic exercise in British history to leave the European Union, right? The UK being one of 28 countries in the EU.
And this was done by ballot?
This was done by ballot, a referendum. Referenda are very rare in the UK.
And what was the vote?
The vote was 52% to leave, 48% to remain.
Very close, but people said what they wanted.
Well, I don't know that that's very close. Oh, really? I mean, that 4% margin is 8% of either camp, right? That's true. There are many elections, many big decisions, binary decisions have been decided on much less. And one of the important points that goes to that point is people on both sides especially the Remain side, because they knew they were going to win, right? The stay-in side, said, whatever it is, even by one vote, we have to honor the result. And everyone was like, yeah, we do, because that's how democracy works, right? That's how, and here was where I was going. Every election in British history has always worked. Now, if for the first time, the British people stay at home whilst the political class reverse a democratic vote, whatever they call it.
Wait. Isn't that the problem? That the people voted for it, but then the elected class didn't really honor it?
It has not yet been honored. And so the fight is still going.
And how many years has this been?
We are 3 years in. And to make it worse, in law, in British law, we had the exit date was March 29th, and then that got moved. Then it was April 7th, then that got moved, and then it was. And the next one is October 31st. And now nobody trusts any of those politicians, surprise, surprise, right? So to finish, the one point I was trying to make there is, if we let them screw us again, and we don't riot, it will be the first time in 1,000 years of British history, where the people say, not only are you reducing our liberty and our representation, we knowingly are allowing you to do it. We're going to let it go by. Now, the Brits have never let that go by before, since, I'll go back to 1014, right? If they do it this time, then it's not the country I know, and I am no longer British. I mean, I don't know how else I can say it. I don't think that's going to happen, but it can go either way, because there are huge forces.
So wait. So is there actually talk in the streets that they might do this?
Not yet.
But the feeling's there.
Yeah. Among some, yes.
I mean,
it's hardening.
This is important because, as you say, there's the general will of the people. And I mean, we go back to our great documents. You know, there was a wonderful document. I want to put the date, but I can't pull it off the back of my head. The Arbroath Abbey. You know, the Declaration of Arbroath Abbey. Yeah.
I don't know the date either, but yes. Yeah.
You know, at no point in time will we, and it was, it was against the English. Someone who's ignorant of our customs, we will not bow down to that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things, and this actually goes to. Well, no, I won't even go there. It's too complicated. But one of the things that I think those of us in the liberty movement often fail to appreciate as an important historical point is that the advance of liberty has so often just been the flip side of a coin, the other side of which is we won't have you imposing your culture or your politics or your roles on us. Like most of those huge steps up have been that. Magna Carta was actually that. And Magna Carta was that because everybody knows that John, the cod history of Magna Carta, John was screwing everybody.
Well, the barons.
And the barons were like, we ain't having this. But that had been going on for a while. The trigger for Magna Carta was actually when John handed the sovereignty of it wasn't the United Kingdom, of the British, of Britain, wasn't even
to the Pope,
England, to the Pope, and then leased it back, right? It was instead of Brussels, it was Rome, but it was the exact same thing. Yeah. And John had no right to do that. I mean, we didn't have the formulated philosophy of delegated power at that point, obviously, but it was already starting. It was already starting,
and it was done at a sword point. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It wasn't and as many times as they want to say, it wasn't the king acquiescing, voluntarily. No, it was.
Yeah. And I think the parallels between that and this are great. As I also think the parallels between Brexit and the foundation of our beautiful country.
I go back to, again, Arbroath Abbey, for as long as but 100 of us remain alive. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's good stuff, isn't it?
We will never surrender.
It's
yes. It's not for liberty. It's not for riches, not for glory or what. It's for it's for freedom and that which no one can give but with life itself, right?
And people, and just to round out that point, people most starkly, most clearly experience their loss of freedom or their threat to freedom as being ruled over by those that they do not identify with. That is the European Union.
And will not honor their customs and their freedoms and what they want.
Yeah. Unless, as you say, it's at sword point.
Yes.
I mean, now it's not swords, but it's definitely, there's this great feeling of imposition from a, let's say it, from a top-down kind of polity that you find on the continent, that doesn't, we don't let it go because we're a common law. Britain is common law. America is common law. That's our tradition, and that's bottom up. It's completely different.
Yes,
And the
yes.
Europeans don't understand
Yes.
that we're not just being. The Brits aren't just being awkward. It's just that it's deep in our blood, right? It's in our spirit, right? That the law comes up. It's got to come from the people.
Yeah.
And the Americans get that, and this is why. In so many important ways, culturally, politically, the Brits do have more in common with actually, historically, the Brits who are Americans, right? And I can go on. Am I excited? I'm excited. But that's it. But we have to get the hell out of the EU.
Well,
Did I make that clear?
You nailed it.
Did I mention it?
Well, anyway, I should wrap it up. We want to keep this going. But anyway, Mr. Kerner, I appreciate it big
it's
time.
always a pleasure to talk to you, Michael.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
yeah.
Yep, this is again Michael Warnken for On Second Thought here at Freedom Fest, and back to you, Wagener, in the studio. Thank you.